How impressed were you? I mean, you had two players, potential starting running back and starting receiver that timed under 4.2s, even handheld or whatever.
Yeah, well, we've got some guys that can run. There's no doubt that always helps. Coach Russell's done a great job with our speed development of our entire team. But I thought overall our guys ran well.
How fast? I mean, the Auburn Fast motto, the hashtag, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Clearly, something that you want to increase the pace. How fast can this team really go when you put guys like that with that kind of speed?
Yeah.
You saw the 115 by Corey in the 8A game.
Well, it definitely helps. You got guys that can run, but our philosophy is to play fast, and we think it's a big advantage in college football. And we're going to continue to try to push the pace and be as good as we possibly can be.
Who would you say are your 5 fastest guys on the team?
Boy, I tell you, it's really hard. I mean, Corey Grant's probably the guy you want to start with, but after that, I was just talking to Coach Russell today, and we've got a handful of 5 or 10 guys that can really run that are all in a real close area.
One thing that was interesting I found on the call yesterday was Belima was saying that he likes playing against fast-paced teams. Now, this was a guy that was complaining about injuries and everything else. What's your thoughts about that? About he likes to play against fast-paced teams because he would hope to dictate tempo on his end.
Yeah, I really don't have too many thoughts. We just try to really worry about ourselves, but let's try to be as good as we possibly can be.
What do you think about a team that is using multiple, like front lines to create the pace that you have? I mean, it seems like teams are trying to find different ways to create that pace in practice to counteract it.
Well, I think just about everybody in college football has some type of pace now, whether it's just their basic 2-minute or transition into their base offense. But I just think that's more and more, you got to defend it, and that's where the game's going.
Coach, what's the current status with Anthony Swain?
The status is up in the air right now. Well, hopefully we'll figure out something in the next few weeks.
And Shane Callahan?
He's on our team.
Were you expecting Anthony kind of waiting for grades, stuff to come through the end of the semester?
It's between me and him.
Curious about how you feel about the receptions that you received at these events.
I tell you what, it's been great. Even this time last year was great. Auburn fans, I've said it before, they're the best fans of college football, and it's always good for me to go out and see the fans, interact with them, and see the excitement, and it's been great.
I was just curious. Ben Tate had come out and said he wishes he would have played another position because he's seeing the money that the safeties are making compared to running backs. And your first year as a coordinator was his last. Did he ever express that in your time there, as far as wanting to play a different? He said he could have played different position at Auburn.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was a very good running back. I mean, if I remember right, he was a second-round draft pick, and he had a great season. Tough guy, could really run, and of course, selfishly, I'd like to have him back for another year running back. But he was a special player.
Coach, where are you planning on watching the draft this year?
I'm going to be in New York.
Oh, you're going to be up
Yeah.
with Greg? Did Greg invite you, or is it kind of the...
Yeah.
Coach, can you comment on the recruiting success you've had in the last couple weeks?
We're real excited right now. I mean, it's a great time. Coming off the year we had, I think everybody sees we have a bright future.
Do you feel like you're ahead of where you were this time last year in terms of recruiting?
I think so. I mean, of course, last year was completely different. We were trying to sell a dream and a vision of what we felt like or where we want the program to go. This year, we had success on the field, and so it definitely helped.
You think it's a good thing the way recruiting goes, and you get so many commitments now in the summer? 10 years ago, you'd have one kid commit maybe during the summer. Do you think it's good to get it all done so early?
I think every year is a little bit different. If you identify the guys that you really want, the information you really need to have, and the earlier the better. And but every situation is a little bit different.
What do you think of the new rule of being able to coaches have contact with players during the summer?
I think that'll be good for everyone, coaches and players.
I understand you have like 8 hours. Is it 8 hours a week, or
Yeah, the new rule is 2 hours with the coaches, 2 hours a week.
Okay. I know some coaches are kind of finding different ways to divvy up that. I mean, it's time in the classroom, but how do you kind of hope to take advantage of that?
Well, I think strategically each coach is going to have to figure out what's best for them, and how they need to approach it.
What would be best for you?
Well, I think anytime you can have instruction with your players, I think that's a positive.
How much do you think this is going to help Nick, sorry.
What's that?
How much do you think that's going to help Nick in continuing his progression forward?
Well, I think it'll help Nick, but I think it'll help all the players. You know, Nick's been in our system for a year, and you know most of our guys have. So I feel like that. You know, it'll help.
Obviously, Nick has made a great deal of progress. Last year, you had Jeremy playing in certain situations. Will we see that this year with Jeremy as well?
Well, we feel like we have a backup quarterback that could play for 90% of the teams in college football. So we're in great shape at the quarterback position. And, you know, me and Coach Lashley, we'll put our heads together and we'll have a plan for Jeremy. But we feel very good about the two guys we have.
Obviously, expectations are going to be high for you guys next year. How are you kind of embracing that when you go to these groups and talk about everybody's really energized on it?
Well, you just got to be honest with people. You know, last year we snuck up on some people. This year they're going to have it circled, and that's exactly what I told our players. I mean, you know, we're going to have to be better in every area. And you look at our schedule; we got one of the toughest schedules in all of college football. So, you know, we're going to have to play very good football, especially early in the year.
Today it was announced a 3 p.m. kick right in the middle of the day, late in August. How do you feel kind of about that kickoff time?
Yeah, I just think it's something you got to prepare for. You know, whether you practice at that time or whatever during fall camp, but it's just part of it.
Do you think the fans truly understand that, though? The whole idea of you saying that we snuck up on people and it's going to be harder this year. I mean, considering the season you had, fans are going to expect you all to be back in the same position you were.
Well, I mean, you know, if you're at Auburn, I mean, Auburn expects to win championships. That's just, I mean, you know that when you come here, and that's part of it, and that's good. That's what makes Auburn special. But, you know, last year we did sneak up on some people early. We didn't play great. We got better each game, and we were playing our best football at the end of the year, which very few teams can do that. This year, we got to be consistent, and we've got to get off to a better start earlier in the year.
Gus, I know last year the question was, who's your quarterback going to be? As you've made the rounds in the Tiger Truck, what are the fans asking you this time?
Tell you what, there's not a whole lot of specific personnel questions. We got a lot of guys back. You know, a lot of it may be, you know, who's going to replace Greg Robinson at left tackle, but you know, we've got a lot of good options there. But we know a lot about our team. I feel like we're in a completely different spot than we were this time last year, and it's just a matter of us getting better.
Can you tell us about TNT?
Yeah, it's just toughing together. You know, last year our team was together, and we just want to make sure we don't lose the toughness part. But we still, you know, have to be together.
You talked about getting your edge back a year ago. Now that it's back, how hard is it to keep it?
Well, yeah, that is a challenge to keep it, and that was one of our goals going into spring. We were very physical during spring, and that was by design. We got a little banged up, but that's part of it. You know, that's how we win at Auburn. You know, we've got to be physically tough and mentally tough.
Gus, it seems like every year now you have like a different motto or saying. You know, TNT, the bracelets, I guess it was stay together last year.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the players get out of that? Seeing that on the bracelet or something like that. What kind of motivation do you think they
Well, I think you know you have a plan. You put it in front of your players. If they have something visually they can look at every day, I think that does nothing but help. And then you as a coach, you keep it in front of them, and everybody strives to be together.
It seems like some of the players are even coming up with their own. I guess Gabe came up with the TNT motto, or at least
He had a lot of ownership, and our seniors always have ownership in our goals and our mottos, and we got a very strong senior group, and you know that's very important.
How important is it to stay within the social media aspect as far as recruiting and as far as having a relationship with players, because that's where we're at right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the kids nowadays, social media is very important, and you know, you've got to find a way to connect with them.
Is there a play or two from the last game that, obviously we think of the last one, but is there a couple plays that have been particularly keeping you up at night or motivating you, or just, why did we do this?
Yes. Yeah, there is a couple.
Can you share any of that?
You know, really, I just kind of big pictured. I mean, we got close. We got 13 seconds away from winning the whole thing, and you know, our coaches and players are using that as motivation. And you know, I'd say right now we're extremely motivated as a team. You know, when you get that close, you know, it's tough. But if you can remove yourself from that specific feeling, you look at the whole year, the whole body of work of where they came from and what they accomplished. Very proud of what they accomplished last year.
Mike, probably a little lighter story, but you know, we met you last year at Tiger Truck, and it was kind of like welcome the new coach.
Yeah.
Can you kind of just reflect on the past year and then tell us if you feel some increased pressure this year?
Personally, I put a lot of pressure on myself anyway, so it doesn't feel any different. It's just a matter of us getting better. Like I told this group earlier, I mean, we're going to be circled on a lot of schedules. Last year, we kind of snuck up on some people, so we got to have our A game, every game.